and welcome to Leading the Break. The segment today features Lilly Parke in our series Around the World in America. Lilly is a junior at Fairleigh Dickinson University and has been a starting member of its basketball team the last 2 seasons. Lilly discusses with us what life in New Zealand is all about, how it compares to the United States, what brought her to the United States, and what her future plans are. How would you describe New Zealand?
I love New Zealand. I talk about it a lot to everyone that I meet. I think it's got the best of everything. Like you're right next to the beach, but then you can be right in the city. And it's I feel like the people are very open-minded, very welcoming, very nice people. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, love the beaches, love the food. Very wide variety of foods. Very multicultural, I would say.
So I've heard and I've also read, like New Zealanders are like one of the most ethical people, on the planet, and it's like one of the easiest places to live. So talk about that. Why is that, and what drives that?
I'm not really sure. I think I don't know where it comes from, honestly, but yeah, I don't know how to.
Okay.
I feel like just the values of everyone back home is very empathetic towards everyone, and very open-minded, quite perspective.
Apparently, when it comes to human rights, also New Zealand is very progressive.
Yeah, we've had female prime minister, been very all for many different rights and bills and everything. Quite progressive, like you said.
I mean, it goes back a while, though. You mean, just very tolerant of different groups, very tolerant of women's rights. Is that something that just is so natural you don't even think about it?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't really put too much thought into that. I think I've more so coming to America, I've seen the difference between home and America. I don't know.
Talk about that. Yeah.
I did my freshman year in Alabama,
right,
which was very different to New Zealand, and so there was more the first time that I've really seen people being actually racist and lots of those different things I've never really seen before, because I feel like back home everyone's very non-discriminative.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you saw that down in Alabama?
Yeah.
You did, really?
This actually exists. It's not just something.
Really? Even today, you could. I know it was about 2-3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You were down there.
Yeah.
So you could see that even really.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, New Zealand's basically 2 islands, right? With a lot of little islands around it. And I guess the topography is beautiful, right? You have mountains, you have the oceans, you have beaches.
Yeah.
And I guess the weather doesn't get really too hot or too cold.
No, I don't think so. I think it's very mild.
Okay.
There's it'll get hot in summer, but not crazy. I feel like it's way hotter here, way hotter in Australia than it is back in New Zealand. And in the South Island it'll snow, but not really in the North Island.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Do you get to enjoy the different aspects of the country in terms of going to the South Island and enjoying what's there as well?
Yeah, I live in the North Island, but I grew up in the South Island.
Oh, really? Okay.
And most of my family still lives in the South Island, so we always visit them, and it's right, literally one side is the mountains and the other side is the beach, and it's just so pretty, and I love going back down there. But so that's more rural farm kind of life.
In the South?
In the South.
So you're from?
There's still farm life in the North Island, but I live in Auckland.
Well, you were in Auckland, right?
Yeah.
That's where you were born?
No, I was born in Dunedin.
Okay.
So that's in the South Island.
Okay.
And then moved to Auckland when I was about 8. So not much time down there, but all my family's still down there, so we visit.
I got you. Okay. And in terms of just growing up, What was growing up like for you in New Zealand?
I feel very fortunate with how I grew up. I grew up in, obviously Auckland is the biggest city, so I think with that came a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't have got in other places. Basketball wise, definitely, but grew up around the same people throughout my whole life still. Like, kind of just. New Zealand is still very small, so I feel like everywhere you go, you know someone.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
Even now, like in basketball, like over in America, like if there's someone who plays basketball from New Zealand, I'll probably know of them.
Really?
So,
yeah. Is the game different in New Zealand? The game of basketball, is it different than here?
I definitely think so.
How? You can talk about that.
I think the biggest. I always say I feel like New Zealand doesn't really play defense, like compared to here. Like there's so many more rules and like set ways of playing defense here, like with the zone and the man defense, and like just so many more details to it than I was ever taught in New Zealand.
Okay.
I don't know if that's just a growing up thing.
You've been playing basketball since the age of 12, I guess, right? You played a little bit in Colorado during your high school years for a few months. What made you want to come to America to get to play basketball here in college?
Well, I always wanted to. I mean, America was always like the American college like dream. Like that's kind of like the ultimate goal. Playing basketball in New Zealand, I feel like just higher level and obviously free education that is available. That opportunity that comes with it, and just the experience of basically playing like a professional athlete while getting your education. My going to Colorado was a great experience for me. That really made me want to come here more. I was like, I definitely want to come back. I loved it. Just the training, like the practicing every day. Like we don't really do that back home. Like I think in high school we would train two times a week at most.
Okay.
So it was a big difference coming here and practicing every day. But I loved that part of it and how everyone who is here, and like everyone who is in my team playing college here, like wants to be here. Like it's not like, oh, I'm just doing this for fun. Like
Gotcha.
It's like everyone's at that same level and wants it as much as you do. So yeah.
So when you came here, first Alabama and then New Jersey. So what are the adjustments you had to make socially, culturally, or any other respect?
Alabama was just, I guess, kind of like I obviously heard about all Alabama and like the southern like redneck, like all of that stuff. But it wasn't too. I didn't feel like it was just like, oh, like this is actually real. But it wasn't like too crazy in terms of. I felt like I had to change. I don't know. That year was kind of like. It was weird because I was with. There was 4 other New Zealanders on my team, and then the whole year was a bit of a struggle because we had an interim coach.
Did you have to adjust how you dealt with people, how you dressed, how you socialized, or?
I think I was talking about this the other day. I think it made me like see how different people can be, which kind of made me just not care as much about what other people think.
Okay.
And so I was just like, okay, like if they like me for me, then that's then they're gonna like me. But if not, then that's okay.
So you found the personalities much varied compared to New Zealand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about being in New Jersey, New York? How's that been?
I love it here. There's been such a like. I love how there's so much more to do than there was in Alabama. Like, you were just stuck on campus, and like there was not much to do around me. But I love being so close to the city here. I love all the friends that I've made here. And
how about compared to Auckland? How would you compare New Jersey, New York to Auckland?
Very, very. Obviously, much bigger. Like much bigger. But I think Auckland, it's a lot louder.
Auckland's a lot
I
louder?
mean, New York is
right.
a lot louder than Auckland, and a lot dirtier.
How about the fact that you can get lost here, in a good way? Like,
Yeah.
hardly anyone's gonna know you here.
Yeah.
How does that feel compared to being home where everybody knows you?
It's nice. I love it now that I know more of how to get around New York and everything, and I just kind of feel like I just blend in almost. Like, I probably don't, but like I could just pretend that I'm a New Yorker for a day or whatever. Yeah, it's quite nice just to be part of that like bigger city feeling. Yeah.
So when you obviously you have to spend a lot of time here at school, but when you do go back to New Zealand, what do you think you bring to New Zealand from New York, New Jersey that maybe you want to incorporate back home?
That's a good question. I mean, I love the fashion, the fashion here in New York and seeing it all. Maybe that.
I think you bring here from New Zealand that really maybe be a little bit different than what exists here.
I feel like New Zealand isn't like that much different to here, like in the bigger scheme of things. Like we're still very heavily influenced by America. Like I feel in like the bigger countries, but I mean, there's definitely foods that I miss.
Like what? Like what kind of food?
I miss a pie, a pastry, like with pastry with ground beef in it. It's like a mince pie. Fish and chips. I miss a good fish and chips. Like all those kind of things. I miss chocolate from home. America's chocolate does not compare to chocolate at home. I like when my parents will come visit, they'll literally bring like a suitcase full of snacks and candy, and like I share it with everyone, and so that's kind of fun.
Do they agree that it's better than stuff here?
I think they find it a bit too much, like it's too chocolatey. Well, I don't know what it's a bit too rich maybe for their liking.
In terms of your own basketball career, you'd like to play professionally afterwards, right? Mm-hmm. Are you thinking of Europe?
Possibly. I would love to go to Europe.
Okay.
I'd love to go. Honestly, I'd love to go anywhere. I love to travel and just see anywhere in the world. So anywhere that an opportunity arises, I think I would be happy with. Yeah.
And when your basketball playing days are over, which hopefully is going to be a long time from now, have you thought about, will you go back to New Zealand? Will you settle back in New Zealand afterwards?
I think I definitely will settle back in New Zealand. I can't imagine like living the rest of my life anywhere else permanently.
Okay.
I love it at home.
I guess last thing, you're away from home, and with a real commitment to basketball and academics. How much do you miss being home, and how hard is that for you?
It's definitely gotten easier over the few years that I've been here, but I think it's obviously you're so busy with basketball, you don't really have that much time to think about it. It was a lot harder in my first year. There was a lot more drama going on and a lot more adversity faced in basketball. But being here, I love my coaches, I love my team. I love everything about basketball right now. So that makes it so much easier to like be away from home. And it's so much easier with FaceTime and all of that. Like it feels like they're only around the corner down the street and you're calling them, but they're really across the world. So yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah. And I forgot to ask you, what are you majoring in? And again, after your basketball career is over, what do you think you'd like to do?
I'm majoring in psychology. After my basketball career is over, I've still not really decided what area I want to go in. I think I'm pretty sure sports psychology.
Okay.
But then I'm also very interested in like education psychology. So kind of two different things, but they both really interest me at the moment. So yeah.
Great. Okay, well, listen, thanks for doing this. Lily.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it.